history had a name. Before kings or kingdoms, there were only the forgotten ones, early men, wandering a world that did not welcome them. They had no language as we know it, only grunts, gestures, and firelight in their eyes. Every sunrise was a question. Would they live to see the next? The land was harsh. The wind bit like teeth. And hunger. Hunger was a god that ruled them all. For many days, their group, a small band of survivors, searched across the endless plains. Their bones ached. Their ribs showed through their skin. Their steps slowed with every passing hour. They had eaten leaves, roots, even the shells of insects. But now there was nothing. The rivers had dried to mud. The air was thick with dust. And the forest, once alive with sound, had gone silent. Even the birds had fled. They knew what silence meant. Predators nearby. But to them, it also meant something worse. No prey, no food, no hope. Each night, they huddled close beside a dying fire, their bellies empty, their eyes hollow. Mothers held their children tighter. Fathers stared into the darkness, praying to gods that had not yet been born. Hunger made them see things. Shadows moved where there were none. The sound of wind became whispers. And in those whispers, they began to fear not just the wild, but themselves. Then one evening, when the sky burned red and the sun fell like blood over the horizon, a sound broke through the silence. Low, deep, dangerous. A growl. The men froze. They turned their heads slowly toward the tall grass. Out there in the fading light, two glowing eyes stared back. A wildcat, larger than any they had seen. Muscles coiled, tail swaying, breast steady. It was both beauty and terror. The perfect hunter. And it was watching them. They knew this was their only chance. If they failed, hunger would kill them by morning. If they succeeded, they might live another day. The oldest among them, the one they called the Firekeeper, raised his hand. No words, only a nod. They split into a circle, spears made from sharpened wood and stone. The cat growled again. It could smell their fear. It could taste their desperation. The hunt began. The wildcat moved first, lightning fast. It lunged from the grass, striking down one of the men. Screams filled the air. Blood splashed across the dirt. Another man swung his spear and missed. The cat turned, claws tearing through his arm. Chaos, dust, shouting. But hunger gave them strength. A strength born not of courage, but of need. One man threw a rock, hitting the beast's side. Another drove his spear forward, piercing its shoulder. The cat roared. It twisted, snapping the spear in half. The men surrounded it, attacking from all sides. Then silence. A final cry echoed, then faded into the wind. The wildcat fell. For a long moment, no one moved. They stood there, trembling, eyes wide, bloodied and shaking. Then, slowly, they realized what they had done. They had killed the hunter. They had conquered the fear that ruled the forest. That night, they built a fire higher than ever before. They roasted the meat carefully, watching the flames dance and crackle. The smell filled the air, rich, smoky, alive. It was the smell of life returning. They ate slowly, reverently. Each bite was a prayer, each chew a memory of what it cost. They shared the meal with the wounded, with the children, with the weak. And for the first time in weeks, laughter returned to their camp. Quiet, unsure, but real. As the firelight flickered on their faces, they saw something new in each other's eyes. A spark of understanding. They were no longer just prey. They were becoming hunters. The Firekeeper raised a burning branch toward the night sky. Sparks rose into the darkness like stars. He grunted a sound, half word, half roar, a cry of triumph. The others joined in, shouting into wild, their voices echoing for miles. That night, something changed forever. In killing the wildcat, man had done more than feed his body. He had fed his spirit. They learned from that battle. They sharpened their tools. They studied the way the cat moved, the way it hunted, the way it waited. They became smarter, faster, deadlier. Days turned to weeks. They began working together, driving prey into traps, crafting sharper stones, learning how to read the wind and scent the air. They painted their hunts on cave walls, lines and colors that told stories to those who came after. The wild had taught them its first lesson. To survive, they must become part of it, not stronger than nature, but in rhythm with it. And so, humanity took its first steps toward mastery. But mastery has a cost. With every animal they killed, a fire grew inside them, the fire of power, of dominance. And that fire would one day burn the world itself. But for now, they were only men, tired, wounded, but alive. As the dawn rose and the first light touched their faces, they stood silently. Smoke drifted from the ashes of their fire. Bones lay scattered in the dust. They looked toward the endless horizon, their minds filled with something strange and new, not just survival. Hope. Before civilization, before gods, before history, there were moments like this when hunger was a teacher, pain was a language, and survival was the only truth. That night, they didn't just eat to live, they lived to remember. And in their victory, the story of mankind began. Subscribe to this channel, like, and share so more people can hear